I doubled the dose in tomorrow morning's final IV drip. She won't wake up.
Once the NHH filing window closes, even if she wakes up, there won't be any evidence.
I'm not refusing because it's poisoned. I'm refusing because I finally get to choose. 7 years ago, I drank the first bowl Derry handed me. Not this one. Not anymore. I've been trapped here for 183 days, simply because the 5-year gene repair sequence I developed is undergoing medical evaluation. If it successfully passes clinical trials, its market valuation will exceed 700 milners. Yet if I'm declared withdrawn due to illness, my name will be replaced by someone else's on the list of inventors. So now, I must stay alive and walk out of here. The clock at the nurse's station is 7 seconds slower than the one in my room. 183 days. Long enough for me to calculate every shift change discrepancy.
Double it tomorrow. After that, she won't remember what data is. As long as she's too weak to watch the lab, she can't catch the numbers not adding up. That's what you're scared of, isn't it?
The cloud backup is locked. I took the portable drive too.
7 years. It's finally coming to an end.
It's not hot anymore. Drink it.
Elena, Derek and I are keeping an eye on the data. You don't need to worry.
Drink it so you can be discharged sooner.
Miss Elena, it's time for your IV nutrient infusion.
I'm sorry, ma'am. The system can't recognize this card.
Get your supervisor. 5 minutes.
Use the backup port.
What's your name?
Elena Vega.
JNY. That's the encrypted address code she designed. She's asking for help. Sophia, bring the whole genome comparison sampling kit to San Francisco Bay Hospital. Contact Mateo and have him bring a tactical team to stand by on B1.
The rain hasn't stopped. It won't stop tomorrow either. 3 months ago, I noticed the data was wrong. I told myself it was a mistake. 2 months ago, I found out they were changing my author credit. I told myself there had to be a reason. A month ago, I realized the IV drip wasn't nutrients. I sent an anonymous whistleblower report to the NH. No name, no evidence, just a case number. When I was 7, I left my only teddy bear on a foster family's couch. The next day, it was gone. Since then, I keep 2 copies of everything.
Elena Vega. I'm Isabel Reyes from Gen Vital Group. The JNY code embedded in your social security card, did you design it yourself? The designer of this pendant was Yanguo Vega. There are 2 letters hidden in the double helix, J and Y, the initials of your father and your name. This is the only one in the world.
I searched for 20 years. No family ever came looking for me.
Someone did. Every year on your birthday, someone went to the orphanage archive room to look through your adoption records. That person was me. 20 years, 1 day every year.
Tomorrow morning at 10, Hospital B1. Bring data verification and whatever legal resources you can mobilize. Now go.
There are needle marks on her wrist. New ones overlapping old ones, at least 40.
Shift change at the nurse's station leaves a 45-second gap between day shift and night shift. 45 seconds. From the moment one nurse puts down the handoff log to the moment the next one picks up the chart. 183 days. I don't need a fire alarm. I just need those 45s. Miss Elena's? My stomach feels really bad today. Could we delay the infusion by 2 hours? All right, we'll hang it at 9:30. No fire alarm, no investigation, no record, only 45s.
Elena.
We don't have much time. Derek is submitting the NH application this morning. The last 10% of the data he's filing is fabricated. It won't run. I have 7 years of raw data and Git time stacks. I also have the poisoning recording, infusion samples, and voice print evidence of forged medical orders.
When Dad got out of the fire, he was clutching the...
I need Henry Cole's data verification. Today. Henry Cole and my husband were classmates at the University of California. I'll call him.
Isabel?
Henry, I found Elena. She has a data set that's different from the GenHeal application materials you reviewed last year. Last March, you raised doubts but didn't push it. Today, she's here with evidence.
Have her come to my lab at 3 this afternoon. Bring the raw data. This time I'll see it through.
Your father's lab smelled like this too. Come in. I verify data. I don't help you fight lawsuits. If the data's real, you win. If there's a problem with the for you either, I won't cover for you.
Here, you ran 7 validations. His version only reported the last one. 7 versus 1. Who's lying?
In the version I saw last March, the later section didn't match your style. I didn't push it then. If I had pushed just a little harder back then, you wouldn't have had to wait until today.
My father. What kind of man was he?
He wouldn't say, "My daughter, I love you." He'd say, "You should rerun this data set." Then he'd write the rerun data on the back of your draft paper. You're just like him.
The case number is still there. The whistleblower letter wasn't sent, but the number remained. Keeping the number wasn't to expose him, it was to remind myself that when I saw something wrong, I acted, even if no greening it yet.
What are you doing out here?
My stomach hurts. I was going to ask the nurse for stomach medicine. I went to the wrong floor.
The ICU exam records say you were on B1 yesterday afternoon.
B1? The ICU is on the 3rd floor.
You look awful. Should I call a nurse and get you another nutrient drip?
Call your mother and tell her to stop adding things to the nutrients. That would work better than calling a nurse.
Derek, every batch of nutrients your mother brings looks a little different. Do you know why? He saw the cup. He didn't see the label. He saw me.
He didn't see the cold sweat on my back. He doesn't know I just came back from Henry Cole's lab, which means he doesn't know what to guard against.
Your account logged in at UCSF yesterday afternoon.
Really? What about the ICU exam records?
Elena, you've been under too much stress lately. Maybe we should add a mild sedative.
7 years. Not once did you ask. Where does it hurt? Stress is what other people call it. Pain is mine. Those nutrients your mother brings every day. Do you even know what's in them? Your company's servers have been locked down by Gen Vital. The NHA investigation team has already entered your data room. What you should be worried about now is your own sedative. You haven't been able to change my password for 3 years, because I changed it to the date I was left at the orphanage door. You don't know what day that was, because you never asked, not once. 7 years ago, when you were pursuing me, you said, "I want to know everything about you," but you never even asked. Where did you come from? Not once. You have 2 hours left. Go tell your lawyer, I need to apply for bail. GenHeal Data Room's historical keystroke logs. 3 months ago, after I found the data problem, I extorted a copy remotely with my own backup credentials. He locked the servers, but he didn't know I still had login access from 3 years ago. Every line of code carries a typing pattern. At 30 words a minute, all he ever typed was delete. I'll send it for analysis. The report will be ready tonight. The earliest court date is still 10 days out. That's enough time to finish the full analysis. The sky didn't fall. Only that room did. Dad, your daughter made it out. Your Honor, let me make an analogy. Someone steals a novel and erases the author's name from the cover. But in the publisher's system, the revision time for every single page is still there.
Defendant, whose IP address is the first author's in the timestamps?
I rented that basement. I had the key. Every IP address in the timestamps points to that basement. What gives you the right to say I didn't write that code?
You rented the basement, but every line of code was typed on her keyboard. An IP address only proves where. The timestamps prove who was typing. Your Honor, this is an NIH whistleblower case number generated 3 months ago, NHI 224-817. The whistleblower was anonymous, but the report flagged abnormal data at GenHeal. The IP address tied to that case number was ultimately traced to GenHeal's internal server. We have also submitted a 3-year keystroke frequency analysis from GenHeal's data room. The export occurred during her employment, complied with GenHeal's internal data policies at the time, and the records have not been tampered with. Mr. Derek Sterling types 30 words per minute, and 3 years of logs show he mostly copied and pasted. Dr. Elena Vaga's touch types 80 words per minute and has distinctive algorithm aberration habits. One person cannot be both a 30 word per minute and an 80 words per minute typers. 3 months ago, while you were still feeding Dr. Elena Vogus those nutrient fluids, someone had already sent a signal to the NHH. You didn't know who it was because you never knew when someone had seen you.
The first hearing is concluded. The case, events regarding ownership of the patent application, will proceed.
Mom asked me to bring this to you. The shirt is new. Your old clothes, she donated them. She didn't keep a single piece.
I typed one line. You still kept it. Then I deleted it, because keeping it was a fact. I didn't need confirmation. I'll say it the next time I see her. "7 years ago, what was posted on that wall was Derek's vision. He never wrote a single line of code. The first line I write today is a beginning. The thing he left half finished, I'll finish it. That little blot of ink says he only wrote half of it better than neat handwriting ever could.
Authorship rights are in the contract. If you don't want to sign, I'll write you a recommendation letter.
I knew something was wrong. Every time we proposed revisions, the final report turned them into Derek's work alone.
When will I stop being sick?
She used family money to corner a self-made founder like me. She must have powerful backers. That's why she dares to sue.
"7 years. The first year he took authorship. The second year he took papers. The third year he took data.
The fourth year he couldn't take anymore, but I was still writing. The fifth year he realized that as long as I kept writing, there would always be more for him to take. The sixth year he decided to take me too. The seventh year I got out. Even a cup has changed direction. 7 years is 7 years.
Prepare to release the full chain of evidence. Posted at 10 tonight.
People in the comments are already organizing a joint petition.
Views past 500,000 in 15 minutes. Release everything. No cuts, no redactions.
The test report, too?
Release it. His performance is over. Now the evidence gets to speak.
This court rules that the core technology patent for gene repair sequences held by GenHeal Gene Technology is confirmed to have been originally invented by Elena Vega and her laboratory team. In the Patent 10 application of materials submitted by the defendant Derek Sterling has been verified by a third party to contain systematic falsation. The patent application is invalid.
Then what the hell were my 7 years for?
This court makes no judgment on your 7 years, but her 7 years, according to the data, belong to her.
You won. Congratulations.
7 years. I kept backups of every line of code you took. It wasn't that you were careless, it was that you never imagined I would keep them.
"7 years. You took 7 years from me. I got them back."
But those 7 years won't come back. 7 years is 7 years. 7 years took a lot from me, but my hands are still here. I can still write.
Where to?
Take me somewhere someone is waiting for me. Gen Vital headquarters. Isabel said, "Come to headquarters." I know she's my mother, but I don't want to be the daughter. I want to be Elena Vega. She spent 20 years looking for me, not so I could sit in her office, but so I could sit in my own. Derek's asset freeze-in order has been fully enforced. GenHeal's core technology valuation has been reassigned to your personal IP portfolio. The shell company Vanessa co-signed is frozen too. Tiny's treatment plan was based on the fake sequence Derek made up? 3 months at most. Send Tiny's real medical data to Child Protective Services. Her treatment can't be interrupted.
Vanessa had her assistant pass along a message. Please give me the correct sequence. I'll pay.
She's letting her die. Elena Vega has the life-saving gene sequence, but to get back at me, she won't even spare a 4-year-old child.
Derek is live streaming. Over 1 million people are watching.
Go downstairs. Give Vanessa the correct sequence. Then start the live cast. I want Derek's criminal evidence decrypted in front of everyone.
Did the signal cut out?
His face froze. It wasn't anger. It wasn't panic. It was blank. He didn't know who he was anymore.
Gen Vital has filed for global patent retroactivity. Every affiliated company under your name, all of them, is on the list.
Elena's third-generation data. There's still a copy on the Ba-Colep server. I'll send it to you through the offline port.
The child left at the orphanage gate 25 years ago walked into a building with a name today. It wasn't that someone had come looking for her. She walked in herself. The person she saw in the glass had shorter hair, different clothes, and stood inside a building with a name. But what made her stop wasn't the building. It was that person.
I stored Elena's third-generation data on the Ba-Colep server. Use the offline port to transfer it. Take it and sell it to an overseas buyer. You set the price.
Mr. Chow, the server's already locked down. I can't even get to the login screen.
I signed contracts for 7 years. Every word in those contracts was written by someone else. All I had to do was sign my name. Today, I wrote this piece of code myself. It threw an error. The error means even what you wrote yourself is wrong. But you wrote it. If it's wrong, you can fix it. Before, there was nothing to fix, because none of it was mine.
I signed it. I didn't check a damn thing.
You never asked me why I couldn't find you for 20 years.
I stopped asking after I turned 7. Every time I asked, the foster families would say, "Stop thinking about it. Your mom isn't coming."
I did look. Every year on your birthday, I checked the adoption records. By the 10th year, the records office said she may have changed her name. I stopped for 3 years. During those 3 years, I went once a week and stood at the door without going in, because I didn't know what else I could do if I went in and still couldn't find you.
So you couldn't find me for 20 years.
But I never stopped. I just searched in a different way. When the JNY encrypted code in your social security card was activated, I sat in my office all night because I knew you still remembered that password.
Then you don't have to look anymore. I'm here.
I called. It rang once. Then I hung up. It wasn't that I didn't want to call. I was waiting until I could say, "I can come get you."
It's okay to be wrong. Page 1 is still there. You hit me?
Who the hell told you to post it?
Didn't you tell me to? You said Elena's data was stolen. Which part of anything you said was true?
You know what? While you were gone, Derek transferred Tiny's medical trust fund. He signed it with your name. That signature on the authorization, it's your own handwriting. You signed it yourself.
You're just his personal ATM he left on the outside. Did I check? No, because you're my sister. I never doubted a goddamn word you said. But which word was ever true?
Would you be willing to testify as a cooperating witness?
Derek transferred Tiny's treatment fund. He used my name. He stole Elena's data. He made me sign off as a fake reviewer. Everything I know, I'll say it. I thought he loved Tiny. At least, loved her. Until I found out he took her life-saving money. He did not love me. He doesn't love anyone. Not even his own child. I waited 7 years. I don't want anyone else to wait. Writing is for others. Putting it away is for myself.
Just passing by that place.
You bought it?
Neater than yours.
They've locked down the house.
I know.
Go to her!
She's not my wife anymore! The divorce decree went into effect yesterday!
I brought her those nutrients every single day.
Mom, those nutrients of yours? James Chan spilled everything. You and I are both going to prison.
The defendant, Victoria Sterling, is found to have consistently provided the victim, Elena Vega, with so-called nutrient supplements containing toxic drug trial Restist over a period of 183 days, constituting intentional...
Witness James Chan, what did you do for the defendant?
I signed a forged isolation observation order. I set the access restrictions separately. I gave the nurses station a heads up not to let the patient leave on her own. When you signed that forged order, did you know what it would lead to? I didn't think about the consequences. I only thought, help an old classmate out. I approved that door, but it takes many keys to lock someone up. I gave them one of those keys, and that key just happened to be the one that locked her in.
I understand.
That door, I approved it. I never thought about who was inside.
Detained pending trial. Bail denied.
The first time I signed off on that protocol for you, I thought Derek wrote it. Later, I found out he'd stolen it, but I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to lose that job. I'm sorry. That pause lasted longer than the archive click.
Miss, will Mommy still do bad things?
Everyone makes mistakes. What matters is whether they're willing to change afterwards.
Mommy, have you changed?
I'm changing. Every day.
Mommy, when can I finish this whole book?
When you finish it, we go home.
The Jangguok Sequence Division is now officially an independent, wholly owned subsidiary of Gen Vital. Effective immediately, Elena Vega will serve as CEO.
But if the budget doesn't catch up next year, I'll put in another request for a 30% increase.
Henry Cole had someone drop this off.
Your father was around your age when he got his first grant. He got his earlier, but yours is bigger.
Mom just called Henry Cole. She said one thing, she's standing up there. The night your dad got his first grant, he stood by the lab window all night. The next day he said, what I need to do isn't celebrate, it's write another draft tomorrow. Did that draft work out? No. He wrote for 3 years, realized the direction was wrong, then he started over. Then those 3 years weren't wasted. They told him the direction was wrong. Mateo, will you buy it again tomorrow?
Once, when she was still at Gen Heal, working late, I passed through that hallway. She was sitting at her workstation eating a sandwich, pausing after every bite. She wasn't pausing to think. She was counting. She was counting how many bites she'd taken. But I didn't stop when I passed. After that, every time I passed that shop, I'd buy one. I didn't just pass by. I went out of my way.
He doesn't talk when he buys things. Your dad didn't talk when he wrote code either.
So who buys better?
Your brother. Your dad's would get cold.
Mom, the sandwich will get cold. Come inside too.
Derek the corner marks I'm coming back. Pressing it down confirms I will definitely come back.
Elena, I'd like to request being listed as third author.
You're second. That priming design you did is the entry point for the entire second generation sequence. The first author is the one who came up with the idea. The second author is the one who opened the first door. You're the latter.
Elena, were you ever shoved to the back before?
Yeah, 7 years.
Elena, what if part of what Derek said was true? Like, he really did rent that basement.
He rented the kitchen, but I cooked the damn meal. Take one bite and you'll know.
She didn't need them to applaud. She knows she cooked the meal.
I used to think getting photographed was a good thing. Now when they take pictures, I pull my hat down lower. Not because I'm scared, because I want to know, if no one was taking pictures, would I still be doing this? The answer is, I still am.
Before, flipping through the album was missing him. Now, flipping through the album is confirming he's still there.
Elena Vega, you gave me a lot these 7 years. I did take it. But there's one thing you can't take back. I made that decision. Winners don't need people to return things.
Do you admit you took her work?
That basement was rented by me.
Wait for the data means I'm not watching the clock anymore. The data will come on its own.
All indicators are normal.
Mommy, you don't have to take leave every week anymore. Mommy, when I grow up, can I write that kind of healing code too?
First, learn one thing. Read every single line carefully, whether it's in a homework notebook or somewhere else.
Okay.
Your daughter writes 100 pages, stolly as a rock, then on the last page writes, "This is the answer." She came to deliver the second-gen proposal. I said, I spent 4 years with your father. She found the right direction in her 4th year. You're not as slow as your dad.
What if she does it in 3 years?
I'll donate my book collection to her. When your father was writing his last paper, on page 3, he suddenly stopped, drew a crooked little tree in the margin. He said, Elena learned to draw a tree today. I need to remember this shape.
The fund's name comes from my father. He went back for a teddy bear because it was the one his daughter held every night to sleep. I don't remember that bear, but I remember the first thing he taught me. If you're doing something because you believe it's important, don't give a damn what anyone else says. In the future, if someone tells you this doesn't matter, think about tonight. Tonight, someone said it matters.
My dad said, a person can write code and can also become a good line of code in someone else's life.
Good and good are separated by the distance of a point. Good is blank. You can still keep writing. Good means it's finished.
What are you learning in there?
Just code.
Why didn't you learn before?
Didn't think I needed to. There was always someone to write it for me. Later I realized the person who writes for you will also write for someone else. Only what you write yourself can't be shut down.
When your dad left, I should have been home.
He's always been there isn't comfort. It's confirmation. You don't need to keep holding onto your phone. The date format, the mix of Chinese and English, and that phrasing needs to be updated in the final draft. All of it was exactly how I wrote 7 years ago. Derek's version didn't have that line, because when he copied the notes too. But he copied the format, not the tone. That week he was late. I asked him, "Are you not wanting to write anymore?" He said, "It's not that, I just don't know how to end it." I said, "Then write dedicated to Elena." He said, "Too blunt." I said, "Blunt things don't need explaining." He wrote it. She doesn't need to confirm anymore. She's been confirming for 25 years.
Sometimes I miss Daddy.
When you miss him, you can draw it.
Mommy, can you come pick me up from school from now on?
Yes. Every week from now on.
Don't make anyone wait 7 years, including myself.
It worked. But that was the tutorial's success, not his. He didn't want to leave someone else's success on the hard drive.
Iron rusts. Bronze keeps fingerprints. Whoever comes will know who's been here. You brought him here.
She didn't write, "Do you regret it?" She wrote, "Did you write your first line of code today?" I did, but it hasn't run successfully yet.
You could write this logic differently. Why the hell are you running the function before defining the variable?
I followed the tutorial.
The order in the tutorial isn't always right. Get the order right, then it'll run.
The first chapter of that book teaches how to print Hello World. He hasn't even figured out spelling yet. I don't need to reply.
Dad, the second gen sequence passed review. 2 years faster than you did it. Would you say, my daughter beat me by 2 years? I'm guessing you wouldn't. You'd say the next version can be even faster and then you'd cover my proposal in annotations. But you're not here, so I'll do the annotations myself.
When she said, "But you're not here," her voice didn't drop, didn't pause. She'd already said that line to that photo 100 times in the dead of night. After 100 times, you can say it in a normal tone.
Mommy, when I grow up, will I write that kind of healing code too?
Yeah, you're already drawing it. Writing code is the same as drawing. First, learn to see every single stroke clearly.
So am I learning right now?
When you are drawing, pen doesn't stop. People who write code are the same. If the pen doesn't stop, you're always learning.
All decision-making authority for the Gen Guog Sequence Division, effective today, is transferred to Elena Vega.
Mom, you didn't tell me in advance.
If I'd told you in advance, you would have thought, should I accept? I just announced it. Now you don't have to think about it.
Then I only have one question. Can next year's budget be increased by 30%? Dad, the last line of your last paper says dedicated to Elena. I read it. The third time, I understood. He wrote that paper when I was 3. At 30, I finally got it. The last page says dedicated to Elena. He didn't know if I'd ever understand. But he wrote it anyway. Wrote it for someone who might.
That bear you had as a kid, the right ear was missing a little chunk?
I don't remember.
I do, because he told me.
Unanimous approval. Straight to phase 3 clinical. Your dad left this here. Over 20 years.
An old pen. The cap's worn, means whoever used it wrote a lot.
You beat him by 2 years.
Thank you, Henry. I've lined up next week's budget for you. The equipment and supplies for the third gen sequence, I bumped them up a tier based on what you said last time.
When did you do this?
When you were pulling all-nighters, I ran the numbers for you. You're welcome.
She didn't look up, didn't wait for a thank you. She just wrote it and walked away. She doesn't need thank you. She needs you. Can keep writing.
And now, please welcome to the stage, Elena Vega.
I'm standing here today without the old pen, because what needed to be written has already been written. Today, I'm here to speak to the ones who still have to write. Someday,
Someone might scratch your name off a paper.
if that day comes, remember 3 things. 1, keep a backup. 2, look at the timestamps. 3, don't wait for anyone to give your name back.
You write it on yourself, because a name is written in the data, and data doesn't lie.
The name of this sequence, it comes from my father. He went back for a teddy bear.
It was the thing his daughter held every night to sleep.
He's not here anymore, but his daughter is standing here today.
Did you write this report?
Yeah, you're the first author. What's your name?
Vanessa Hart.
The report's pretty clear.
Before, when people asked what's your name, I'd say I'm the COO of Gen Heal. I'm Derek Sterling's partner. I'm Tiny's mom. This was the first time someone said, "What's your name?" And I answered, "Vanessa Hart."
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Derek Sterling has requested 10 minutes to make a final statement to his industry colleagues.
I'm already paying for the mistakes I made. But some things can't be solved by locking me up for 7 years. You can't lock up the code I wrote.
This is the complete time-stamped original data Dr. Elena Vega submitted to the NIH. I suggest Mr. Sterling, right here in front of everyone, go through it line by line against the version you submitted. Mr. Sterling, the last section of data you wrote, what year, what month, what day did you write it?
I don't remember.
He doesn't remember, but the time stacks do. I raised this concern last March during an informal NIH discussion, but he submitted a supplementary lab record and buried the question.
Hold on. Henry, how do you prove this original data you've got is the real thing? Could be forged for all we know. Two sets of data both claiming to be real. Why the hell should we believe yours?
Okay.
With this, "183 needle marks, every single one corresponds to a revision in my data. You can pull the hospital ward surveillance. When I wrote that last set of validation data, the IV was still in my wrist. The needle marks are old as all the data. Paris same when July 1424, 11:33 p.m. The first 3 hours of my data appeared in Derek's version, but in those federal court evidence vault. Case number EREN 2024, needle marks did in 117. Go check it yourselves. You asked how to prove this data is real? My arm is the proof. Go to any hospital, pull my records. Every single timestamped on my data matches. My body is the timestamp. We also ran a keystroke frequency analysis from 3 years ago. Mr. Derek Sterling types 30 words a minute. Copy and paste is all he does. The final data set in his version with Dr. Elena Vega's unique algorithm abbreviation patterns. One person cannot be both a 30-word per minute and an 80-word per minute typer. You said you can't lock up the code I wrote. You're right, that code wasn't yours. You can't lock up what belongs to someone else. You never locked up a single line of code. You shoved someone else's code into a drawer, but the person who wrote it kept writing. What got locked up was a file.
What can't be locked up is the act of continuing to write.
I used to think being seen was victory. Now I think sitting quietly in the break room and finishing a box of sandwiches, that's a kind of victory too.
When my community service ended, nobody was taking pictures. I stood there 3 seconds before I realized nobody was. I glanced down at my phone. The screen was empty. Not because nobody called this time, because I realized I didn't need to check.
Everything on this wall has been certified as evidence by the federal court. Any media outlet, any peer, any student, you are free to photograph, copy, and cite it.
Elena, is everything on this wall real?
Every single line, because every single line was written by her, no one else.
She was confirming the wall was still there. She didn't need to confirm the photo was still there. The photo always is. The wall might not be.
Mom, that formula, you never told me what was in it. You said nothing's gonna happen, but James Chan took the witness stand, and I'm sitting here.
I always thought of it as nutrients. I used that word for 7 years. Today I thought for the first time, nutri means something you feed a person. Ents means elements. There was no nutri and no ents in that liquid. What the hell was it? I'm done thinking about it.
Oh, she said, I'm done thinking about it. 7 years. The first time she said, I'm done.
The name is written. The chalk snapped. Doesn't matter. The name is already there.
This you?
Yeah.
That code you wrote before, someone else wrote it. What you're writing now, is it yours?
Victoria Sterling sent this.
Get rid of this for me.
You okay?
I'm fine. Because what's in these bottles now isn't me.
Back when I mixed those nutrients, I never thought, what will this do to her? I thought, will this formula produce the symptoms?
Today I saw that woman across the way holding her kid. She shifted the child to her other arm. The switch was so natural. I stood at the window for 3 seconds. Natural means not having to think. Things you can do without thinking, that's what's natural. I haven't been natural for 7 years.
The projected completion cycle for the third gen sequence is 3 years, twice as fast as the second gen. If we don't hit it, that means I underestimated the difficulty, but I haven't underestimated it yet.
Elena, you say that every time, and then you finish early.
This time too, because every time you know just a little more than the last.
Elena, if no one had come looking for you back then, would you have kept writing?
Yeah. If no one had come, I would have written slower, but I wouldn't have stopped. Back then I thought, if no one comes for me, I'll write alone.
Now I think, if no one comes for me, when I'm done writing, I'll go find them.
After she said don't answer the phone, I developed a habit. I don't put my phone on silent, but I leave it on the mount. Won't miss anything, and no need to rush her. Her dad's pen sat here over 20 years. When she came by today, she didn't say she wanted it back. She said, you can keep it here, you'll use it. She said, you'll use it. After 20-something years, someone finally said, you'll use it. Not you keep it.
The Jangwog sequence global licensing agreements are signed. 7 international pharma companies.
7 years ago, when I signed Elena Vega, I thought I was signing Derek Sterling's wife. Now I know. Those 2 words, Elena Vega, are just Elena Vega.
Do you hate them? I did. But your brain only has so much space. Save the RAM for the third gen sequence. Then how would you describe that experience now? Like an open source code without a byline. Someone took it commercial, claimed it as their own. But the person who wrote that open source code, she knew what she was writing. The byline can sit outside the code. The code is inside you.
I followed the whole way. He didn't cry. But when he looked down at his own hands, before he used those hands to sign his name. Now he uses them to learn to code. People who got the order backwards can still move forward, just not fast.
You glance at it every time you pass.
Not every time.
You do. You just don't notice.
Maybe because what's written there isn't my name. It's his.
He would have read your paper first, then written could be better on the cover and left a cup of coffee outside the lab door the next morning.
But I don't drink coffee.
He didn't know that either. He thought everyone liked it.
The nurse said, give this to the person who made you better.
Go back and tell the nurse. I'll keep it safe.
Data verification passed. Recommend proceeding to next phase.
I wanted to send thank you. Typed it out, deleted it. Thank you is an ending. I can't end yet. I haven't finished the thing, never use the wrong protocol again. Today I finished 1 set of data. There's another one next. Before I saved it, I revised it 10 times. Saving only takes a second. That second had 10 revisions behind it.
First round preliminary results for the third gen sequence, 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Tell the team to go home early today. We'll do the debrief tomorrow. You're not working late tonight? I have a date tonight to go stand on the terrace for a while.
Elena hasn't left yet?
That's not coffee you're drinking.
No coffee at night, can't sleep. Matteo, when you were in the service, was there ever a time when you knew what you were doing was right, but you were just so damn tired?
Yeah, every day.
So what did you do?
Kept doing it. Stopping is more exhausting.
Don't stand out here too long, wind's strong.
Means got it. Standing there a few extra seconds means I know.
Before, every time I wanted to send a message, I'd stare at the thread forever. Today, I don't need to stare. Not because the debt is gone, because it's not. Keeping this unsent message, it reminds me of what I did more than sending it ever would. Before, deleting messages was running away. Now, shutting down is choosing not to look. Not looking is harder than looking.
The evaluation passed. Tomorrow morning, you can come pick her up. Do I need to bring anything? Just bring a jacket for her. It's windy outside. Vanessa's evaluation passed. Tiny goes home tomorrow.
Let her take good care of her.
Derek checked out 6 programming books from the prison library. The first one was Python Crash Course. Because when you start, you don't know what you're doing. But you have to start before you can know what's wrong. Because when you start, you don't know what you're doing. But you have to start before you can know what's wrong.
Before, I had to touch it every day to make sure it was still there. Today, I didn't touch it. Not because it mattered less, because it's here.
Before, I signed contracts for 7 years. Every word in those contracts was written by someone else. All I had to do was sign Derek Sterling. Today, I wrote this piece of code myself. It threw an error. The error means even what you wrote yourself is wrong, but it's yours. If it's wrong, you can fix it. Before, there was nothing to fix, because none of it was mine. The code ran, but it was copied, not mine. I used to think copied correctly meant I know how. Now I know. Knowing how means being able to write it without the tutorial. I can't write it without the tutorial yet, but at least I know I can't. I didn't know that before. Not saving is harder than saving. Not saving means admitting it's not yours.
Okay, let's go home.
Mommy, will you always be home?
Yeah, every day from now on.
Back when your dad stood by the window thinking you'd sit at his feet playing with that bear. He'd stand there for half an hour sometimes. You never bothered him. You'd just sit there, waiting for him to finish and look down at you.
I don't remember.
I do. Back then I thought this child is going to be someone who knows how to wait.
I remember the color of the bear. Brown.
The key is here. She can come get it anytime. No need to let me know in advance. I spent 20 years looking for her. Now the key is here, She comes and gets it herself. That's what found means.
Her dinner. She skipped it again today.
The key is for letting her in. The sandwich is so she has the strength to walk back out. One person put down a key. One person put down a sandwich. After your dad was gone, someone in this family still left things for her.
The key is for letting her in. The sandwich is for making her want to stay. Not the same thing.
Didn't buy any today?
I did. Put it on your office desk.
You always leave it. You never say anything.
Your dad left things too. He left coffee. He didn't know you don't drink coffee. I know you eat sandwiches, so I leave sandwiches. That difference, I'm the only one who needs to know it.
He said that difference, I'm the only one who needs to know it. He doesn't need me to know. He just needs the sandwich to be there. Just like the pendant. Doesn't need confirmation, just needs to be there.
That glance back lasted longer than a good goodbye. Goodbye is spoken. Looking back is pausing.
This year I learned 3 things. 1, back up your data. 2, decent people don't usually change their door codes. 3, after someone opens the door for you, you still have to walk through it yourself. Next year I plan to learn a 4th thing. If I nail it, I'm treating everyone to sandwiches I bought. If I don't, you're all getting sandwiches I bought and let go cold.
This is mine. The first tiny program I got to run on my own.
Back then I taught you this because I hoped we'd stand on that stage together. Now, you can only write it for yourself to see. It took you 3 tries before you spelled it right.
What was the first line of code you ever taught me?
Print hello world, and you spelled it wrong 3 times.
Your favorite, the way you used to make it.
Dad, we're all here.
What you only wrote half of.
I'll finish. Next time I come, I'll bring new data to show you.
In 7 years, she wrote hundreds of thousands of lines of code. But this line was the shortest and the longest. The shortest because it's only 2 words. The longest because it's the first time she wrote for herself to see. I wanted to send thank you for 3 years. After I typed thank you, I added one more line. Tiny drew a tree in her picture. Not because thank you wasn't heavy enough, because thank you is an ending. That extra line means it's still going. I sent it. She sent it. I waited 3 years, didn't get I'm sorry. I got Tiny drew a tree in her picture. Lighter than I'm sorry, but heavier, too. I'm sorry is an end. A tree is still growing.
You're drinking hot water today.
Coffee gets cold.
How long have you been standing here?
Thinking about the 3rd gen sequence.
What about it?
What to call it when the first data set comes out.
Figured it out?
Yeah. Jianguo's next version. The thing Dad only half finished, I'll keep writing. What he wrote half of, I'll complete. What he didn't get to start, I'll begin. As long as someone keeps writing, he's not finished.
Then you'll be writing for a long time.
It doesn't matter. I've got more time than he did.
Heading in?
Maybe later. When I was little, the tree I drew, you said Dad said it was standing. Standing here today, I think he was right. A tree doesn't need to move. It stands, roots down, and that's enough.
She wasn't talking about a tree. She was talking about herself. Before, she was a tree that got moved. Now she's a tree that's standing. The difference isn't in the roots. It's in the decision not to leave.